Hey, today we have Felix Ortiz on the phone with us from New York City, and Felix is the founder and was the visionary behind Green University. Felix, welcome to Green is Good.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, and you're a young entrepreneur. You're 26 years old, Felix?
Correct.
And you had a couple of ventures before this. What made you come up with this idea, Green University? What was your inspiration, and why now?
Well, the inspiration, the idea was born when I was on the Obama Advisory Group transition team for trade and economics. I heard everyone, the veterans and the great people in Washington talking about, green. What does this mean? Is it a fad? Is it luxury? They couldn't really define it. And I saw the opportunity that the most important platform to create a industry is to provide education and to educate the workforce. So that's where the idea of Green University was born. And the reason we're doing it now is because we believe that the industry will be probably the premier industry moving forward under the Obama administration and for years to come. It's about sustainability. It's about saving the world, and that's the vision and mission of Green University.
So when you were in college, where did you go to college?
I went to St. John's University.
Great. So when you went to college, were you thinking about this back then, or this just happened as sort of a transformative experience during the last campaign?
It just happened. I've been an entrepreneur since I got out of college. I've really never worked for anyone.
Right.
So it's been kind of a weird experience, and it just happened. It just happened to be at the right place, the right time, and I saw the opportunity, and that's where the mission and the vision was born. And we're hoping to have it up and running pretty soon, and so that all the viewers can be retrained in the green workspace.
So why don't you explain what is Green University, and what's your URL going to be? By the way, give a shout out for what your URL will be.
Correct. So the URL right now we're in product development.
Right.
So the URL is not up yet, but we will be greenuniversity.com. It will then within 2 years it would then become greenuniversity.edu. That's once we're validated and accredited by the Department of Education.
Great.
The idea of Green University is to simply train the workforce. And what I mean by workforce, we're targeting initially the low-hanging fruit. So that's the HVAC installers, the plumbers, residential construction, electrician, anything that you can think of that can be involved in construction, auto manufacturing. We will be training those low-hanging, low-level middle managers to get them green trained, green certified, so they can have a higher paying job once they're certified, or even create their own entrepreneurial venture where they can be green consultants to consult on projects because of their green certification and training. So it all ends out to help everyone, help the economy, and hopefully some other entrepreneurs are born out of this.
Gotcha. So wait a second. So you're training people, and what kind of? How do you go get those people? How do they hear about you? And then how long does it take to go through Green University?
Correct. So understanding that most of these folks are probably initially when we launch will be displaced workers, individuals who may not want to go on to college and go into a vocational trade school, but that's the initial target market. Green University, when one takes a course through Green University, it just depends on what the course is. So, for example, if you're a residential construction superintendent individual who wants to be green certified, it would take anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks, both with a combination of online training as well as we will have our strategic partners will be providing on-site training and job site training. We will have a job placement platform incorporated into Green University. So once a student has gone through our course and programs, the goal is to have a job waiting for them within a certain time frame upon their graduation.
Gotcha. So then how many people do you expect to come through Green University? I mean, when do you expect to launch Green University, and how many people do you expect to come through on a monthly and annualized basis?
Yeah, so we're doing a pre-launch, which would be November 15th. Our full launch will be January 15th. That's when we'll be fully live, operational. That our pre-launch, obviously, it will be to a certain segment. But the amount of students that we expect on day one will be about 200 students up front. They will be coming through our revenue, through our agreements that we have with strategic partners that will provide the pipeline, as well as through our contractual agreements that we'll have with certain governments, agencies, and the displaced workers through the workforce investment boards throughout the 50 states.
So isn't anybody doing this already? I mean, is this being done already by University of Phoenix or some of those type of organizations? Are you the first to do this?
From the due diligence that we've done, we believe we're the first to do this type of platform. But what separates us from any of the competition is that all our content is at the highest level of accreditation, recognized within the industry that we're targeting. On top of that, all our content is locked up in exclusive IP, so that basically separates us from any competition. Although we don't see universities as our competition, we actually can complement them by being in their Green Career Training Center. So that's how we see it initially.
Got it. But when you say, okay, so now once Green University launches, so you're going to have your arms, how wide are they going to be open for, in terms of plumbers and electricians? Who else can come to Green University? Can someone out of high school come to Green University?
Yeah, as long as they have a GED or a high school diploma, they can come to Green University. With high school students, and with regards to the green industry, we will have a mentoring program in conjunction with some foundations that we'll be working with to educate these high school students on possibly getting into the green career space.
Right.
So, but we will not, be trying to get kids out of high school. We want them to finish high school and obviously either come to Green University and become green certified or trained.
Got it. And then so how long have you been working on this business plan? Since the election, or did you start dreaming it up during the election before Obama was elected? How long have you been working on this?
Well, I've always been interested in the green space. I didn't know exactly back then, 2 years ago, how I would get involved in the green space. It came to life when I was on the transition team. So I would say since when the president went in November, since last December, since the transition team was born. That's how long I've been doing this, working on this strategy, execution, and all that.
Great. Well, Felix, we're gonna take a little break to our sponsors, and then we're gonna come on back and talk more about your great vision of Green University and what that's going to mean in the green revolution. Come on back to Green is Good.
If a little green is good, more is even better. Now, back to Green is Good with John Shigarian and Mike Brady.
Welcome back to Green is Good. Today we're honored to have Felix Ortiz III on the show with us. And Felix, welcome back. We know you're running around. You live in New York City, and tell us a little bit about growing up. I'm a New York boy also, but you had a little bit of a different experience. You come from a political family in New York.
Correct. Yes, my grandfather on both sides were elected officials, and my dad's a elected official. I have some cousins that are elected officials as well. So I guess I'm the bad apple in the family when I went into being an entrepreneur.
So you have you were born with the political bond. That politics is part of your DNA, really.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, I really believe that if you want to make it to the highest level in business, you have to understand politics and interconnect at some level. So I was blessed that I had that upbringing, and I just leverage it what I learned there to my entrepreneurial spirits, and I think that's helped me somewhat at a young age overcome certain barriers, because as a young entrepreneur, you have a lot of speed bumps in the way. So
that's true. So now when you worked on the Obama campaign, correct?
Correct. So I was on the National Leadership Council for President Obama.
Yep.
Back then he was Senator Obama.
Right.
I was his top youngest fundraiser.
Wow.
And basically, the National Leadership Council was a group of about 100 the top Hispanic businessmen. So these included like the founder of Univision, the founder of Maya Cinemas, founder of Apollo Bank. I mean, some pretty high-level folks. And I was part of that group. And, I got lucky to be part of that group because initially I was on Hillary's finance committee, and, they accepted me with open arms. And it was an interesting experience. We went to Miami. We were canvassing there. It was a good ride. And today, the results are in, and he became president.
So our listeners want to know, tell us about meeting the president up front and personal. Is he a nice guy? What's your impression of him as on a personal level?
So I really respect the president, where he came from, how he was, when he announced on the steps in Illinois, in Springfield.
Yep.
And today becoming president, it really shows that if you have a vision and a mission and the right people around you, you can do anything in life. And for that, I respect him for. And you just take that into the entrepreneur world, and you can replicate that. So I think it's a great learning experience for all the young individuals and folks who, I'm sure every day in life are facing challenges and think they can't overcome that barrier. The president is a perfect example. And not just the president, but just anyone that has reached the level of success, what success is, and the pinnacles of happiness. So I think that's a great learning experience for all individuals.
That's well put. Now, I know you told us, but you told Mike and I before we started recording today that you had a little bit of a time barrier because you're rushing to catch a plane to go have dinner with someone special. Explain where you're running to. Tell our listeners. Then we're going to go back and talk a little bit about Obama again. I have some other questions for you. But where you're running to today?
So sure. So I'm going to Miami to go have dinner with President Clinton.
And
it's pretty exciting after his Clinton Global Initiative that he held in the UN. So I have a couple of questions for him because I think we're coming up in Copenhagen's coming up pretty soon. So
you're having dinner? Is it the dinner tonight?
Dinner is tomorrow. I have some meetings in Miami tomorrow early morning, and then we have dinner with the president at night. So basically, it's about 15 of us. Some of the biggest developers in Miami are going to be there. Some of the biggest names in business will be there, and it'll be pretty intimate. So I look forward to sitting down and talking about green with the president.
And how do you think that will tie into the Green University? Do you have any aspirations to bring that up, or do you think you could tie that into the Clinton Climate Initiative, or what are you thinking there?
Oh, sure. I believe that we can tie it in. I mean, Clinton is focused on climate, green, and entrepreneurship, and that's what our mission for Green University is. So we tie in all those three components. So,
and I know so knowing how much you know about politics, let's go back and talk about Obama. How does your vision and your ultimate goals for Green University affected by the recent loss of Van Jones to the Obama administration?
Yeah, that was an unfortunate loss. Obviously, like anything in life, we have to move on. I really don't believe that it affected us in any way. Greg Nelson, I believe, is the individual who handles the green projects within the White House.
Right.
So, Van Jones was just the advisor of the president, but he was always, outside the White House. So just like anything in politics, you have the inside guy and the outside guy, right? So, we know of both, and that's an unfortunate incident, but it doesn't really affect what we want to do with Green University.
And it doesn't.
At the end of the day,
yeah, go ahead.
What we're doing with Green University is actually providing a solution platform, exactly what the president falls in line with the agenda of the president, which is to educate, retrain, and get into the green industry.
So you're not dissuaded as an entrepreneur at all from the loss of Van and that little speed bump along the way. You still feel that Green University has an amazing, bright future, and you're going forward with your vision.
Oh, correct. Yeah, I'm not dissuaded.
Good for you. Good for you.
We just got to keep moving.
All right. Well, let's go back and talk a little bit more about Green University. Mike and I were talking during the commercial break a little bit, and tell us a little bit about how does people now. The issue of financial aid has grown in America. The divide between the haves and the have-nots has grown, where people are struggling to afford to pay their kids way through college, as we know, Felix. And Mike and I were talking about that. What is the opportunities for people to get educated? How expensive is Green University going to be? And are there financial aid opportunities?
Sure. So, Green University will range in price depending on the course that one takes. Because of the fact that in the first 2 years, just like University of Phoenix when they first launched, they structured a upfront payment or a term of payment throughout certain time frame. So understand, we're here to serve a purpose, and the purpose is to educate the workforce and retrain them. and we understand that some folks may have financial difficulties. So we will analyze each individual based on their financial needs and either create a payment platform, or they will be charged a certain amount up front and a certain amount at the end of their tenure at Green University. Now, keeping in mind that some of these folks, and most of these folks probably, if they're displaced, probably qualify for a Workforce Investment Board grant. Now, I'm not sure of every state, so let's just use Puerto Rico as an example. Puerto Rico just laid off 17,000 people on Friday. All those people are allowed to have up to $5,000 a grant, essentially, to go to school. And, we will be working with those Workforce Investment Boards or Department of Labor to help these individuals identify those monies out there so they can come and get trained in Green University.
Okay, so Felix, with the workforce that is in transition, what about people that are still currently employed but are looking ahead, maybe want to position themselves in the future towards having an actual degree somewhere within the new green workforce? You will offer online actual degrees, much like University of Phoenix and other online universities. The curriculum and the extension, would it be just so many credits to get a bachelor's degree, and or is there matriculation up for a master's degree?
Sure. So so we are initially with Green University. We're going to do course-by-course certification. So, for example, if there's a plumber, and a plumber obviously has to have their state license,
right,
and they want to be green trained, green certified,
right,
they would go through our course and get that green certification. Initially, we will only be offering the green certifications 1 to 2 years of the track record has passed. We could then offer 4-year degrees, postgraduate degrees. So that's the goal for Green University. We already are in talks with folks to start developing content for postgraduate and bachelor degrees. But again, we got to make sure first that we succeed within the first 2 years to the level we want to get to the next level, which is providing 4-year and postgraduate degrees.
Felix, when you say course by course, when you launch in November and then you go hard in January, how many courses do you expect to have in November when you launch, and how many in January? And then after, and over the next 3 years or so, how do you see it evolving? How many courses do you eventually believe you'll have, or what's your vision or at least your goal?
Sure. So the first, when we launch on our pre-launch, we're going to have 5 courses.
Okay.
Right there, after that, we're going to be repurposing and developing courses every 60 days. The goal is to have about 15 courses at the end of this year, 30 courses at year 2. And obviously, once we have year 2, we can reanalyze all that. And, right now we have access to 1,500 courses.
Wow.
We know that not everyone knows about the green industry, doesn't understand what the value added yet is to being green certified. So we have to, at the end of the day, do some due diligence and structure it around the courses that people are most aware of, whether it's CGA, solar energy auditor, photovoltaic installer, solar energy installer. So, those type of courses are courses that we intend to launch with initially. So,
but Felix, Mike and I we like keeping things simple for our listeners, and they get inspired by young entrepreneurs like you who have great visions and want to jump into the green revolution and be a leader. But also now on a practical side, I think unemployment now in America is somewhere around 10%, maybe even more in some communities, including Detroit and even here in the Central Valley where Mike and I tape our show. So take us through that. When you go to bed at night and you start thinking about how many people can come through Green University, can you become the eBay of the green revolution for the green collar jobs that Obama so really wants to promote? Can you eventually say, John and Mike, 3 years from now, I have had 3 million people come through Green University? Is it very scalable?
Yes. I mean, obviously, I'm an entrepreneur, and those are numbers that I love to hear. So, it is very scalable. It's just like, I'm not sure how many of the listeners out there have read the book Outliers, but in Outliers, if you read the book, which I think it's a great book, it's all about timing. In the 1930s, we had the finances, the industrial revolution because of the Great Depression that occurred. Then in the 70s and 80s, we had, some microsystems Microsoft developed. Then we had the tech companies develop. Then we had the bubble burst. In 2009, going into 2010, it is the year of the green industry. And I do believe that within the next two to 3 years, this industry will start maturing to a greater level. Under the Obama administration, the main focus is to create jobs and to focus on green, renewable energy platforms. And that's where we fit in. At the end of the day, we provide the solution platform for everything that all these individuals are talking about, whether it's, Green for All, the Obama administration, Department of Labor agenda within the green space, even a place like Nassau that's looking into green now. So we provide the solution platform, and the most important platform, which is educating those individuals so that they can be trained to retained for jobs. So that's the platform that we provide. So I do think it's scalable. I think that people who are entrepreneurs should start looking into the green space and not focus so much on the high-hanging fruit. Everybody's focused on wind power, solar tech, the batteries, but why not focus on the low-hanging fruit, which is where most of the money probably will be made at the end of the day. And perfect example is in New York City. If you walk around and you look at the sewers, right, the sewer holes, most of those sewer holes are made in India. But there was two great entrepreneurs, brothers, that said, wait a minute, why not just scrape off the name, have it imported, and put Made in USA, and now you have, Made in USA sewers. And next thing you know, they basically took the whole contract away from the folks from India. So, I think that we should focus on the low-hanging fruit when it comes to the green industry.
Well, we agree with you. And tell us a little bit about the partnerships that you've created and other great things and other people that believe in what you're doing.
Sure. So we have, some cross-promotion partnerships. We have a partnership with Fuel Outdoor Advertising. We'll be, in a strategic marketing deal with them in all the 9 states that they have. We have other media cross-promotion partnerships that we're currently finalizing negotiations with. We have partnerships with the government of Puerto Rico. We have partnerships with other cities and municipalities that we're finalizing talks with as well. So it's pretty exciting. A lot of people are receptive to our project, and as an entrepreneur, that brings a lot of excitement. And actually makes me want to be more passionate about this project. So it's exciting.
And we got to let you go. I know, Felix, we got just a minute or so left. Tell us about tell us about the green divide and how that affects you and what we can do to overcome that.
Sure. So the way I would simply put the green divide is the same way that the broadband divide occurred. We're in 2009, and the NTIA still has to shell out money to take some folks off DSL to get some folks into Wi-Fi or the next generation of WiMAX.
Right.
Obviously that's not satisfactory to our people. So what I want to do is I'm already seeing the potential green divide occurring. Difference between what does green mean in the urban community to the suburban community, the rural areas. And what I think is by partnering with nonprofits, with Green University, and providing an education platform, we can educate these communities on what green is. It's not just about changing your light bulb. It's about living a lifestyle. And the most important thing about green is healthy living. I mean, if you walk around an urban community, you see a liquor store every other block and a bodega and fried food. If you go around to a suburban community or those type of communities, you see a Whole Foods, great gourmet stores. So we have to figure out a way, and that's another entrepreneur venture that can come out from any potential listeners. That why not create what Whole Foods is in the suburban market into the urban market, and I guarantee you'll have a lot of traffic. So there's a lot of ways, but the most important way is to start educating these folks.
Perfect. Well, Felix, we're going to let you go because we know you have to catch a plane. We're so appreciative that you came on today. You've inspired our audience and other entrepreneurs out there that want to go out and become part of the green revolution and become part of the solution. Felix Ortiz, you are living proof that green is good.